morning. I'm Chip.
Hey, good morning. I'm Steve.
And I'm Rick.
And this is
Chip's
Garage. We got a very special car for him this morning, Steve. My buddy Rick brought this in, and this is a friend of yours, right?
Yes, it is.
And his name?
His name's Bob. And
Yeah.
We've been working on a little project with him. So
Yeah.
it's been a slow work in progress, but we're working on it.
Yeah, as you guys can see, today we're doing a car that's not done. And this is, well, it's an interesting one. I mean, Rick, you need to tell us about it. But
Tell us, Rick. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's obviously a project in works. And this came from
It came from the junkyard.
Yeah.
the
It
junkyard.
was actually saved from the junkyard.
Yeah, so it was in line to be scrapped.
Yeah.
And your buddy was picking up parts or something from the junkyard? What's the story there?
Him and his buddy were at the junkyard picking up parts, and they just seen it there, and they made an offer on it, and they took it because they were going to scrap it. And it had a tired 340 in it. It was original 340.
Yeah.
727 car.
Yeah.
And it was optioned out pretty well.
Yeah,
And he picked it up, and he bought an engine from us, and we started putting it together, and we've been just slowly but surely just repurposing stuff and making it into a neat little street rod.
Yeah,
But you
so
still have all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
have
still
the
kept it.
original
Still original.
340.
It's
Yeah.
worn out, but he still has everything. And that's the viewers. If you have a car like this, keep the original stuff. I don't care if it's a screw or a molding. I don't care how bad it is. Keep it.
right, it's a great point. And here's the thing, guys, you don't have to go out and buy a $60,000 car,
No.
right?
Not to have
No.
fun.
Yeah, and these things are still out there, and you can slowly put it together. You'll see as we go around it. He's bought used parts from people. He's done all kinds of stuff, and this thing gets a ton of attention, right?
Oh yeah, surprisingly,
Yeah,
yes
yeah,
it does.
Yeah, everywhere you go, right?
Everywhere you
at
go, people give you the thumbs up and everything, and she's a work in progress. She's actually a fun driver. It's something you can have fun with while you're working on it, and it's peppy and it does its thing.
Right. So let's go through it. It's a 1973 Challenger, Dodge Challenger 340.
340.
Yeah, and you can see here on the
Right there,
hood
right
where they identified it. I always thought that was pretty cool the way they
I
did the
like
call
high
outs on
honk
it.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's optioned out pretty well, this car.
It really is. I'm shocked in the shape of the metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can see the rust, but it's surface rust, even on the
Surface,
roof.
yeah.
And this was a vinyl roof
Vinyl
car,
roof
correct?
car, yep.
Yeah. So you can see where the vinyl roof was back here. And here's something interesting, guys, is
Oh,
the
yeah,
lead
yeah.
seam.
The lead, yeah.
Yeah, and they would have bonded that in, right?
Yep.
And then
put
covered
right
it.
over
But this would have been, and you can see it back
Little strip,
here.
little
If
strip.
you look, you can see where the strips
Yep.
were for the vinyl roof that went around.
Most likely, probably had a green vinyl roof.
But maybe or
yeah,
white,
yeah.
they
Oh,
did
white,
that. Yeah.
And if you can see the viewers, there's a stripe here, kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can barely see it, but it's his original right here.
That's right.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I said, I can't believe I haven't seen that in years.
You're right. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, interesting how little things just for looks
Sure.
they did like this here, which is just basically glued on there
Right.
or however they put it on there.
The mirrors, I always like the mirrors. They're really beautiful. How they're just smooth, and
Yeah,
rounded,
yeah.
and
Well, the Challenger was a very sort of smooth, cool car, right?
Sure.
I mean, if you look at the hood scoop and the way the whole hood just bows
I know,
up here,
I know.
right? And then you got the hood scoops, and they're non-functional, but they look cool.
Yeah.
And then you look at like the door handles, like this little thing
Yep.
is what pops out
Yep.
and opens the door.
Yeah.
But it's so streamlined. I mean, these things were cool cars.
Heavy doors.
Heavy.
Heavy.
All the
All the-
cars back then
oh,
were
yeah,
known
yeah.
for that.
The hinges, well, a lot of hinges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of
you
hinge
had
pins, yeah.
you had the hinge rebuild
Yeah,
kit where you
yeah,
put the little
yeah.
brass
Bushings
bushings,
in.
in
Bushings and
there.
all that,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I comment about this. I mean, not too many cars you see with the blinker here. I mean, you see Highline cars. Remember Cadillacs used to have them and all that, but you see something on us. But Dodge did that a lot with the cars.
They really did. And
they work.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
work.
but I think that was an option, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
think
think
it
so.
came
Yeah, no, it's an option.
standard.
Sure.
Well,
I think
okay,
it
the
is.
viewers can correct us on that, but I believe that was
Being
an
a heavy
option.
option, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
The only thing, I love these cars. The only thing I never liked this.
this.
Right. Well, that
Yeah, you know.
yeah,
That's for the bumper. What's that? The
That was
crash
to pass
test.
the government.
yeah. Well, that was a safety thing they demanded on
Right,
these cars
right.
as you got into the
how
70s.
effective they were.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was more, but they are ugly. They stick out like a sore thumb, like they
Right,
don't even
right,
belong
right.
there. Now, being a 73, this 340, the original one,
Yeah.
would have had a lot less horsepower, right? In
Yeah.
73.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any idea what it would have been?
About
I
two-
want to
about
say
275 maybe, something like that.
I wanna say
No,
less
I
than
think
that,
It's
two-
like 230.
Really?
That's what I was going to say,
Wow.
230 to 250. But again, viewers, if anybody knows exactly, I'm
But-
sure we could look it up.
But a cruising car, man.
Yeah.
This had air and everything. I can't imagine.
This thing had air and
Again,
everything.
Yeah.
it was a highly optioned car. I just can't imagine this was in the scrapyard.
Yeah.
I mean, whoa.
And license plate bracket's still on it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, this is some things that our viewers love to see. They love this.
Right. Well, and you're right, your blinkers and your running lights up front here. You got the
Yeah.
dual headlights, but look at how
He's
cool
got
that is.
All the badging for it and everything. So, I mean, the
Yeah.
car was pretty much really still a survivor complete, but in a junkyard.
Right.
Like, why,
Unbelievable.
why
Now,
would you throw it out?
Now this was a 340 727 auto with an 8 3/4 rear end, original, right?
Right.
Now he's, and we want to talk about this build again, so the viewers know they don't have to spend gobs of money. He's got about $7,000 in this right now.
Besides purchasing the
Yeah,
car.
It works.
Pay for the car,
Right.
but he's got about 7,000. Get it on the
That's
road.
not bad
and
at all.
that's
Right.
Engine, transmission.
So tell us what it has now. What's been changed in the car, and you can show it to us. Let's open the hood here.
Take a look at hood. Sorry.
And this was done economy wise. It's a 340. It's got the Australian EQ Magnum heads, which are actually the better heads.
Wow. Can you
And
talk a little bit about that, just briefly?
briefly, the EQ Magnum heads were redesigned off of the Dodge Magnum head, which came out in the 90s, and they were similar to the Vortex Chevy head, that they're really a newer design head, and they worked really well.
Okay.
But they cracked, and the Australian company EQ made these Vortex, these Magnum heads, and they were a heavier duty casting, and they flowed better, they worked better, they were really good head.
Okay.
And we put them on there. We bought an aftermarket intake. It was basically a pop-off intake. It seems to work really well.
Did he buy that used too?
No, we bought the intake
Okay,
new,
so he
but
bought-
we got the intake new. It was a good price on the intake.
Okay, but a lot of the stuff was used. Like you bought the motor used, right? I mean, it was obviously rebuilt and
Yeah,
used by
the engine was new. I put a different camshaft in it just to make it a driver and stuff. And
well, it was a used engine. I mean, he didn't buy a new block or nothing. It was
no,
used.
no, it was a
Is
used
that a
engine.
70? What year is that? Do you know?
I think it's a 70 block.
Okay,
okay,
a 70 block.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
now he's
And-
going to use this mainly. Eventually, he's going to use this for the track, right?
Right.
You're right.
But he's going to keep it street legal.
Like street strip. Yeah.
Street legal, but it's going to be on the track, 8th mile.
What kind
So-
of gear for the rear?
We're putting a 488s in it.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So it'll be.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So and we're doing a few updates to the suspension knob. We want to get everything else lined out before we start adding more power to
Right.
it.
Right.
So,
How much horsepower do you have now?
approximately 400.
Okay, so about
that's
400 horsepower, which would make a nice,
Yeah.
getting into it, right? And he's learning, right? How
Right,
to
he's learning. That's why we're doing it this way.
Right.
We make sure we get the suspension and everything right, so the car works.
Right.
And then we'll start adding power to it, and he gets comfortable with the car, and he doesn't have something that he has to try to hang on to.
Right. And I see you have a fuel regulator. You got an electric fuel pump with it,
Yep.
right? You obviously have
MSD.
headers, MSD,
We made it-
distributor and box.
We made it simple. We took the Mopar stuff out of it, which sometimes the wiring harnesses and stuff on them, and the wiring can be a nightmare on them.
Okay.
So we took away all that. We took away the alternators, and we put a GM alternator on there. Bagged
Yeah.
up some brackets.
Point that
Doesn't
out
have
there,
to be
Steve.
crazy.
Right here. But it works.
But it works. A
works.
one-wire alternator.
Yeah.
it's what works.
There's
It's not
nothing
about
wrong with it
has
as
to
long as
be-
it works.
This just has to work. It doesn't have to
Right.
be, period correct
Yeah.
or anything
10.
like that. We're just making this thing so it
Yeah.
works and you can do it and have fun and not spend a lot of money.
Right. You got power brakes, you got power steering, you got the aluminum radiator.
Nice aluminum radiator here.
Yeah. Oh, electric fan. Okay, you got the electric fan
Yeah.
set up front.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Very
I like
good.
this. He didn't put this back on it. That's nice.
Yeah, he wanted to do that
Yeah,
little
I like
touch
that.
on
Yeah,
it,
I like
you know?
that. I
Yeah.
like that.
And I mean, some stuff we just did on it just
This
for
is-
little touches, but
This is
basically
nice.
it's to make it work. It's to make it functional.
And I want to point something out here. If you look at this rim on this side, that's
Yeah.
actually a
Trailer tire.
so that's a trailer rim and
Yeah.
tire that he used on the car. He needed an extra one.
It works.
Eventually, I'm sure he's going to get a set of
We've
rims.
got it. We've
Okay.
got a set of rims already that we bought used.
Yeah.
Already sitting there. We were wanting to put the other tires, some new tires on and stuff, and we're getting ready to do that now.
Right.
So we just threw that on there so we drive around and so we
Yeah.
can work
Well,
on it.
Tell us about now. He has another car. Tell him about the other car.
The other car, people have watched the show
Yeah.
before. They've seen it. It's a orange 70 Challenger with the 426 Hemi in it.
Right.
4-speed, and he didn't want to cut that up.
He didn't want to cut that up. He was thinking about cutting it up, and I had sold him this engine, and he was like talking about cutting his other car. I said, "Well, didn't you had another car you say you got from Junkyard?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let's go look at that." And I said, "Oh, let's cut this one up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll make something out of this, and this can be a fun
Cool.
play toy.
Yeah, and here's the thing again, guys. He gets all kinds of attention with this, as much as any of us do with
Yeah.
our fixed up cars.
Oh
People find it really cool when they see it in this shape and the mismatched stuff. Now you bought, like you said, you bought the engine. Now you bought the brakes, the exhaust. What else you use? Like you bought them from other people that had parts laying around.
Fuel cell, the carburetor, transmission. Before we rebuilt it, we bought that one. A lot of the stuff on it. We got a new set of Caltrac split mono springs we're putting
Right,
on
we'll
it.
show those in the trunk.
And
he bought those. They're new, but he bought
they
them.
bought them new, but he
used
bought
from
them
somebody.
used from
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
and he got them for like half price.
Unbelievable.
So I mean, you can do
That's
it
nice.
on a budget if you're careful and you don't have to spend crazy money.
Right.
Still put something together good and have fun.
Right.
Well, you know how you say people love this car. Well, Roadkill has brought that out. That movie Roadkill.
You're right.
They go to a junkyard. They go to somebody's yard,
Right.
and they go and take it back to their shop and
Yeah.
get it, and they go drive across the country.
Hey,
That's what helps out.
You just reminded me of something, and I want to tell the viewers about it. FloridaCarShows.com, or it's FLA carshows.com.
Yes.
They're going to start
can't
showing
wait.
some Chips Garage stuff, and we want to support them. You can sign up at FLAcarshows.com, and you can get a monthly thing that e-blast that tells you all the car shows going on in
that's
Florida,
awesome.
and they do a great job. So we want to give a shout out to Tara there, and thank you
Hi,
for
Tara.
supporting Chips. And they want to support the car culture just like we do.
Like
So
us. Like
yeah,
the students, the kids, us guys, families.
right. Everybody get the kids involved. We always say
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
So I was just going to go ahead, Steve, because I know you love that.
What? We got Amco Motor Club here. That's really cool. But back here, we have to go back here. The Scat Pack. I
yeah.
always love that. It was part of the Rat Pack we were reading.
Well, no.
Was
Not
part
most
of it, but
people,
I mean,
right.
but-
It was a takeoff.
Yeah,
from it.
takeoff from
Yeah,
it. The
yeah.
Rat Pack was Frank Sinatra,
Right,
Sammy
but-
Davis Jr.
Right, but it basically indicated that it was a performance.
Performance.
I think they said it ran under 14 seconds.
Yeah, under 14 seconds.
Yeah, in a quarter mile.
But I got to show everybody my favorite. I still remember this back in the 70s. Hey, come up here. You got to come up here. The buzzer.
Oh yeah, listen to that.
The buzzer. Listen to this. Ah,
Yeah.
it brings back a lot of memories.
Oh yeah, my Duster still has
No,
that.
does it? Okay.
Yeah, and that indicates that your key's still in
Still
the
keys it,
ignition.
yeah,
So if you go to get out of your car, it will buzz, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
oh, I left my keys in.
I got a story, guys. I got a story real quick. A guy got the wrong garage. He came by my garage back in about 1992. He brought a car in about this shape, a 69 Super Sport Chevelle. The seat was this shape. The car was this shape and everything. It was a 396 12 volt and everything. He goes, man, I need the money. Give me $1,800 for it.
Oh,
And I bought it from him. And I took it for a ride. Didn't have second gear. It was a Turbo 400,
Yeah.
but I still smoked the tires.
oh yeah, yeah.
I sold it for like $3,000.
Well,
I thought I was doing good.
You did do
I
good
did,
back then. Let's point out some things inside here.
I love the seat.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look here first of all,
Yep.
and a lot of the newer viewers won't know this, but this adjusts your mirror out here.
Yep.
So you move it around, up, down, sideways, whatever, to adjust this mirror. So it's a manual. You know, there's a little thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lock. You push down, it pushes
Yep.
up.
Yep. And there should have been a little
Yeah, a
like armrest.
It's in the
Armrest.
back. We haven't
Yeah.
put it on there
Yeah.
yet.
And again, look, here's how you open the door, which is really
Very
cool. This had
pretty.
manual windows. But look at this. I always admired the steering
Yeah.
column and the steering wheel on these. And here's your buttons for your AC.
Your
You got your
gauge.
headlights, your washers, your panel for dimmer. The speedometer goes to 150
Yeah.
because it was a V8 car.
Yeah.
So it's got the tack. Wow.
Wow.
It's got
It's
the
got
clock.
a tack.
This,
I
yeah,
didn't see that.
then the
Wow.
factory tack.
Nice.
Yeah, and 150 on this.
Wow.
And temp, and you got the clock over
Yeah.
here, Steve.
Well, Rick, tell them about the shifter that you didn't know about. I didn't know that either.
Oh, the shifter in this thing. And I didn't know it at first. And Bob told me about it when we were getting ready to do the transmission. So I was going to put a reverse manual valve body and switch the transmission out. And put a ratchet shifter in. He goes, oh, this is a factory ratchet shifter. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So we put a forward manual valve body in it. And it's a ratchet shifter. So you drive this car. So you drive it like a manual.
Yeah, you manually shift
Yeah.
it. It's
But
an
you can-
automatic.
But
manual
you
shift.
can put down and low, and you can just it's a slapstick.
Wow.
Yeah, from the factory.
That's
And I
awesome.
never knew they had that.
Never
Yeah,
did.
the old Dodge emblem, which I always appreciated. We've shown it on other cars, which is cool.
Come over here. Look
Indeed.
at this for
Yeah.
a junkyard car. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
the body's
Look
the
at
body's in great shape. And if you can show in the back seat here real quick, you'll see that there wasn't a lot of room. These were very sporty cars, very desirable sporty cars.
You got a beautiful piece here.
It's a piece of history, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and it's like
Let's just
restored
open the
from
trunk real
factory.
quick.
How many original miles were on the car when he got it?
141,000.
Wow. And this is what blows me away. Look at this. Usually they're like this.
Yeah.
And look at that, how nice and tight it is.
It's surprising how much of this car is still
Yeah.
solid in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once again, let's point out the back here real quick because it's really cool. And I love the way
Yeah.
they tilted
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
out and these in, if
Uh-huh.
you will.
Little subtle things.
Oh
that
yeah,
they did.
I hate the bumper brackets again. What they call those? I forget. They had a name.
Bumperettes or-
Bumperettes.
Bumperettes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But a cool looking rear end.
Now
right?
on a 59 Cadillac, the big ones are nice. But not
Yeah.
on this.
And the slots for the
Oh
jack.
yeah. So
Oh,
here's
yeah,
for your
yeah.
bumper jack. So you had a slot that went in there. You did your bumper
Yeah,
jack.
Just when it rusted
Let's
out,
look in
you have a
the
bumper.
trunk here real
The
quick.
fuel tank in this thing originally was from sitting in a junkyard for so long. It was terrible. So we ended up finding a used fuel cell,
Mhm.
and we put it in the trunk here. And it just because it's going to be a track car mostly,
Right.
and it just solved a lot of issues with it right off the bat because
Right.
we
Yeah.
had a few issues with
Right.
it, and that solved
Yeah,
it.
it's
Right.
really
Here's the Caltrac leaf springs that he was talking about that they bought
Oh,
new
yeah,
used,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or used new, however you want to say it. And he's got a drive shaft loop over there that they're
That's
going
right
to put
here.
in for obviously racing.
Along with the rest
All right.
of the Caltrac
Yeah,
style setup
yeah.
and stuff.
And that
everything
all
for the
came
suspension.
for $200. All that
Wow.
or no?
No, that
Okay.
didn't come with it.
Just-
but that
just
came
the
with
leaf
some other
springs.
stuff, but it was
Yeah.
used, repurposed,
Yeah.
bought off a friend. So it's very
Yeah.
easily can be done without
Now-
having to spend a lot of.
Here's where the filler cap would have been for the old gas
Yeah.
here, and he just covered it up.
I covered
It's
it
got the
down
side
because of
markers?
the hole. I've got the,
Sure.
I've got a cap here, and I've got the original tube that we're going to cut off
Okay.
and put the cap back on there, so the cap is there. But we
Good.
need to fill the hole.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
time being.
Wow.
Well, guys, we're running out of
Yeah.
time. Man, what a cool
Rick,
car.
thank you so much.
Yeah, we
Rick.
just need to close with this, that look, you don't have to put a ton of money into these things, ungodly money. This car is as cool as any car we've seen. You know, it's a driver. You drive it all over the place. I know you drove it 35, 40 minutes here. It's just you can do it, guys. They're
You can
still
drive
out
it
there.
anywhere. It's
Yeah.
a nice part about it. You don't have to put a ton of money. You can have fun, and you can work it at your leisure.
Right.
And your buddies can
Yep.
get rid of some of their old stuff when they're upgrading. You just upgrade it and move it over to yours and do it.
Yep, it's a good way to
Yeah.
do it. Well,
It's actually a good way to do it.
we're out of time, guys.
Out of
I'm
time.
Chip,
I'm Steve.
And I'm Rick.
and this is
This is Chip's Garage.